He burst into tears. Basically, he's been doing that since he was 19.
Doing what?
Going to prostitutes.
Oh.
Imagine in 12 months, right? You're made redundant, you're super broke, your mum dies, you're trying to pattern something for yourself, and then someone that is meant to have your back, just by virtue of the fact that you have their kids, is the one person that is kicking you in that moment. It's appalling. Yeah. And he actually left our son in a car at night while our son was sleeping and went to a brothel in Thornton Heath. Yeah. He will be at UK Black Business Show with our boys doing like Black Dad of the Year. And you're telling me being with me and your kids 7 days a week is depressing you. Less than 2 weeks after my mum has died. Would have sex, but I'll be like, no kissing. You don't need the money right now. You're trying to kick someone when they're down. I was just a funnel paying invoices for providers. That didn't cover the roof over our head. It didn't cover the food for the boys. It didn't cover their clothes. It didn't cover any of that stuff. That came from me. As a woman, like, it's important to feel financially able to end a marriage. Yeah. I never fought for that kind of equality. Yeah. I am not like that. Like, I don't want any situation where I'm giving a man money.
Yeah, it's it's disgusting.
It's my time to shine. If you doubt it, I'll do it. Love's on my side, so I'll prove it. It's my time to shine. If you doubt it, I'll do it. Love's on my side, so I'll prove it. Yeah.
It's Mide.
Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Mide Oni, the one and only. And you guys are back watching another episode of The Mide Show. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have to say a massive thank you to everybody that has tuned in, everybody that has subscribed, everybody that has liked, commented, and shown their support. Like, it has been phenomenal. It's been so overwhelming in a positive way. And I feel vindicated. I feel amazing. I feel happy that I have all of this support and I'm loving you guys. Like, honestly, it's been amazing. So as per usual, grab your teas, your coffees, whatever it is that you're drinking, and let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Charlotte. Woo! This is my first guest. Amazing story, which I literally cannot wait to get into. But before we do, I got you a little something.
Stop.
Yes, as my first guest. I was like, I gotta gift you, girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't read the card until you're like in your own personal time.
Okay.
It's a little personal. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
But before we get started, like, we need to talk about how you got here.
Okay, let's
we
do that.
We need to share the testimony.
Let's do that.
Because it's very important to our story.
Absolutely.
Even collaboratively. Oh.
Collaboratively.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Collaboratively.
That's a hard word. Collaboratively.
Collaborative.
Wow. Let's move on.
Okay. So yeah, it's very important to our story.
Yeah.
So I want you to like give us a little
about how I actually came onto this
how
show.
You got onto this show.
So I had a viral moment a week and a bit ago. Last weekend, I got a message asking me if I want to be part of a podcast to share my story. Obviously, like, it's a hot topic. And I was like, sure, why not? I might as well. So I hadn't heard of the platform that I was meant to be on. I had a conversation with the producer on the Monday, really hit it off with her, thought, cool, happy to go on that podcast. And then the next day, I got sent a contract. I was about to sign it, but I had some stories that I wanted to put onto my Insta. For some reason, my Wi-Fi was tripping up. So I thought, let me just hang around on Insta. And I started watching other people's stories. We had connected a few days prior.
Yeah.
And I stop in my tracks because I hear, you're a liar. You're a liar.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
And I'm like, who's that? And what's she talking about? Like, who's a liar? And then I see a link to your episode, connect the dots, and I'm like, oh, damn, that's the podcast I was literally about to go on. I was about to sign the contract, go on to the podcast that you clearly didn't have a good experience on. And the reasons that you were saying, for me, it hit too close to home. So I literally called the producer I was talking to and I was like, do you know what? Whether this is true or not, I don't know. It's not my story. I'm not involved in any of it. However, your point of view and your experience, let's say it is true, right? Because it would be pretty bold to come on and do a whole podcast episode lying.
Two episodes.
Right, lying, calling God's name, calling the Holy Spirit. I was like, anyone would be mad to do that.
Yeah.
That's not the vibe of anyone or anywhere that I want to work for or put my story on. Like, I've literally walked through my own situation of manipulation, abuse, narcissism, all of that stuff. So imagine going on a platform where maybe that's what goes on behind the scenes. I was like, heck no. And then I reached out to you.
When you reached out to me, I had just come out of prayer. And I was like, God, if this is where I'm supposed to be, because my prayer life that week was a bit shaky. I wasn't praying a lot because I was overwhelmed with all of the virality and everything that was going on. And I was like, listen, I feel I'm going to get distracted by this show. I don't want it. I only want what God wants, right? And I said, if this is for me, reconfirm or take it away.
Wow.
As soon as I come out of prayer, I see your DM.
Wow.
And we have a conversation. I said,
this God.
You see this God, yeah? No one can tell me to stop talking about him.
No, seriously.
No one.
He runs ahead of us. Because I thought, in my naivety, right, I would have gone on a platform basically with a message where we need to do better for women. We need to protect women more. We need to notice how subtle abuse can be. Why would I have that message and share it somewhere where potentially that's what goes on?
Yeah.
I just thought, that is crazy. And just because I'm naive doesn't mean the audience is naive. So let's say someone else had been a victim of that kind of behaviour, they would be thinking, well, what's Charlotte talking about? Because she's endorsing that kind of behaviour, clearly.
Absolutely,
you know?
So we thank God.
We thank God.
And now you're my first guest. Look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
And I just thought your energy, that when a woman is like, you're a liar, we're going to have... I'm like, I feel you, girl.
Yeah.
So...
We see each other.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
So I've been speaking to Charlotte off camera and she is an absolutely remarkable woman. Remarkable woman. Her story is amazing, which I feel like a lot of people will be able to resonate with this story at certain points of it. So obviously, like you mentioned, you've gone viral 2 weeks ago.
It's coming up to 2 weeks now.
So when you put out that video, the response that you were expecting to get was completely different to what you got.
Between my ex-husband and I, it actually did. And he showed me a level to him and a side to him that I've never, ever experienced before. So early last week, he told me that now that he is caring for the boys full time while I prepare to move, he obviously stopped the child maintenance payments to me, which is what we had agreed. I didn't want to be in receipt of anything because I don't have the children, and that money was court ordered at the time of our divorce for our boys' activities. So their extracurricular activities, their breakfast club, after school club, tutoring, athletics, football, you name it, they do it, and that's what that money was for. So it's not a substantial amount, but it was in line with his salary at the time, and it was enough to cover those outgoings. It didn't cover their accommodation, it didn't cover their food, none of those things. So obviously, as they are no longer in my full-time care, that money was to stop. Absolutely, no questions asked. Now, he was saying that not only is that money stopped, he took the car that he had previously got for me away. Again, that's totally fine. I'm leaving the country. You don't owe me anything like that. That car was to make taking the kids from A to B easier. Totally fine. Here's the bit that threw me. He is saying that I need to pay him child maintenance.
Do you know what? At the time of putting up the video, I had 1,000 followers, most of whom I know. And people that watch my reels, it's never blown like that. And I genuinely was having a rant and I thought, this is going to be for the girlies, the girls are going to see it and be like, how dare he, you know? I had no idea that it was just going to skyrocket and the comments would be just the complete opposite. Like women, men being like, how dare you pay that man, this and that, coming at me, coming at the way I mother, saying, how can you leave your kids? Like, it was just, yeah. Like, I wouldn't say I had an expectation of what was gonna come in, but I thought it would be like, if not supportive, but a bit neutral, a bit like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot like where it went, and people saying like, why don't you chop off half of your forehead and sell it for the child? As in, people are actually rude.
Yeah, the internet is ruthless.
And I had no idea.
Yeah.
So if anything, sometimes there's like a beauty in being naive, like, because I'm just not a content creator.
Yeah.
I had a really small account.
Yeah.
Like, you would never put something out like that if you knew that's what
Exactly,
that's
the response was gonna
that
be,
you would get.
Yeah. Charlotte is here to clear up, and not even clear up her name or anything, but just to add perspective, to give context to that viral video.
Yeah.
To go through everything, how we got to that moment.
Yeah.
And just allow people to form their own conclusions from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, what I would say, I did a couple of subsequent videos to try and provide context, because I think context helps, and it was lacking from the first video. And that is what I hope to do on this show as well. But ultimately, people's decisions, that like, it's neither here or there. You weren't there with me raising those kids. You haven't walked through what I've walked through. You haven't seen what I've seen. Like, you don't even pay my bills. So whilst it would be nice to just like give people more colour and show that like no woman gets to this point if they haven't been pushed to it.
Yeah.
Right? And to also help women that might be going through something similar or might relate to the story to know that there is hope. Ultimately, that is the goal.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen and people are still like, you're a deadbeat mom, then it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
Yeah.
So, as always, let's start at the genesis, your upbringing, your childhood, like your formative years.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I was born in 1988 to like two Nigerian parents, mum, a dad. I have an older brother who's 5 years older than me. By 1991, so let's say I'm like 2-3 years old, my parents started a church. So, and by the time I was old enough to know what was going on, that church was quite a large church. So it means that my whole life was like played out in front of people. My parents' marriage was really toxic. My dad had infidelity issues. He cheated on my mum quite a lot. And that was something that my brother and I knew from really early. I think I was probably like 8 years old when we had our first family meeting, like sit down meeting. And it was like, your dad has done this and I'm leaving for a few days or something like that. Like, it was really brutal.
So your mum literally told you that?
Yes.
Oh.
And imagine being 8 and I was such a daddy's girl. So the thing is, my dad was such a hands-on dad and still is, right? To the point where you can be with a grown-up child. But he will call me every day, even now, like checking on me every day. So I remember being like 8 or 9 and I burst into tears and I ran to my dad.
Wow.
And I hugged my dad. I was like, no, daddy, like, you couldn't have done anything wrong. Like, which is crazy, but it just goes to show how much I didn't understand what was being told to me. Our family was like that year in, year out. There would be like a big thing that my dad had done and we would have a family meeting. I can't remember if like, as time went on, maybe like aunties and uncles or maybe like pastors would join. It was just weird, like, but that's how it really was until like, by the time I hit puberty, obviously I started to take my mum's side a bit more because I started to understand that actually as a woman, how she was being treated was upsetting for her. So I would gravitate more to her than to my dad, but I still felt like, my dad's a hero, like, you know, it was hard. I used to tell my mum when I was old enough, like, why don't you just leave? Like, because by this point, they didn't share a bedroom. Everything was performative. They would argue all the way from where we lived in Hither Green at the time to the church in Old Kent Road. But as soon as we got to Old Kent Road and their armour bearers would come out to open the car doors, it was like, they would like hold hands into the church.
How did that like affect you growing up in terms of how you viewed relationships?
That's a good question. I wasn't ever scared of relationships. In fact, I feel like I liked boys from when you're supposed to, but I always had a thing in my mind where it's like, boys can hurt you and make you upset, and I'm never gonna let that happen to me.
Okay.
So I was more like, and I remember, because I've had to go through this in like early stage therapy, I would like date guys, and this was up until I met my ex-husband at 23. I would date guys, and the moment they caught feelings, I would lock it off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I thought, if they catch feelings, so they claim, and then I catch feelings and I'm locked in, they're gonna do something to hurt me. So before that happens, I'm gonna hurt them.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's literally how I was until my early 20s. So in uni and stuff, like, I would never be serious with anyone. And it's not that like guys didn't try, not to be big-headed, like, but I would date, I would see you, I would whatever, but I would always keep my options open. And if I did get too close to someone, I would self-sabotage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and now looking back, you think that was because of the dynamics between your parents?
100%. And because I was so close to my dad, and I could see how he was I was going to say he was a gallus, that's crazy to say, but I saw the way he had with women, and I thought, that will never be me. Imagine like knowing that women are in your mum's church and still sleeping with your dad.
That is crazy. And then they're smiling in your mum's face after.
Yes.
Wow.
And this was what broke my mum, because she still had to be their pastor. So what can you do? Like, the disrespect, now that I'm older and I think back, I'm like, the disrespect is wild. And I just thought, if people can do this, then I'm not giving my heart to anyone.
Yeah. Understandable.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that's why when I met my ex, and the fact that I fell for it, and we could go into this a bit more, that is what still throws me to this day. Because I'm like, I did so much to duck and dive, and the type of men that I actually liked were like the typical light-skinned dudes, like more playboy types. Those are the ones that are harder to settle down. But that's what I was attracted to, because again, like, I knew that it would, like, they wouldn't really commit and I wouldn't really commit.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like a self-sabotage thing, really.
Yeah.
So the fact that like my ex was so different visually and everything, I thought, okay, well, he must be safe. And he wasn't.
Yeah. So let's talk about you meeting your ex.
Yeah.
How that came about, how old you were, the settings, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 2012, so I must have been like 22, 23. It was like the Olympic times.
Oh, okay.
And we had a mutual friend, and she had a focus group one day. So we met there, and then after, I wanted to do a bit of work, like do some content, and my camera stopped working. So I was like, to the nearest guy, which was my ex, hey, can you fix my camera? Like, do you know what to do? And he's tried and he couldn't, but he was like, here's my card, like, what's your name, this and that. So we started chatting. Again, he gives me a business card. That's like...
Proper.
Yeah, that's proper,
Yeah.
right? And then we start chatting. He has links to my uni, but like didn't attend my uni, but ran something called, I'm just gonna name names, ran something called Great Debate Tour with someone that was at my uni.
What uni did you go to?
Brunel.
Brunel. Oh, I
Yeah.
went to Brunel too.
When?
Brunel.
Brew what? So yeah, I was there from 06 to 09.
I started in 2010.
Oh yeah, I'm quite a bit older.
Yeah,
than you.
I
I'm
started.
37.
I started when you would have left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought, rah, he's serious. Like, and then he asked me out for drinks or something, or we exchanged Twitter handles, and you know, this was ages ago. So we started like tweeting, and then it was the Olympics, so I guess we were tweeting on that. He asked me to meet for drinks or something after work. I'm like, sure. We had a great chat then, actually, and that's when it was kind of like, oh, he's not my usual type, but there was definitely a spark. I think because he was so serious-minded, and I thought he was going to like conquer the world, you know? And that was my energy as well. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to be impactful. And I was doing work with young girls in schools, teaching them about confidence, self-esteem, time management, that kind of thing. So I thought we could be a really cool force. But having said that, our next couple of dates, I remember we went to like a bar, and I think the Olympic fight, like 100-meter final was on or something, and there was a runner, and I was like, damn, he's nice. And I was saying this in front of
your ex.
Yeah, so that's how I didn't really see us as like dating material. I saw us more like friends. Don't ask me how. A few weeks after that, or let's say like 2 months, it's clear that we were dating. And then he was like...
Did he ask you out?
Yeah, but not like, will you be my girlfriend? He said, I've been praying and God has said you're my wife. So like, I want us to start courting.
Okay.
So I was like, rah, that's so Christian. This is the vibe that I deserve. Like,
so at this point, obviously you've said that you have commitment issues, essentially, and you would sabotage relationships and stuff. When he said that, why did you kind of like go with what he said?
So my parents at this point were getting divorced.
Okay.
And it was very public, right? Like the fallout was crazy. And I saw him as not just a Christian dude. His family unit seemed really solid. Like they were all, like his parents were happily married. His siblings all seemed to get along. And I think in hindsight, I felt like this is the family I want to be in. My family are self-destructing, literally. And this whole cushy, like, perfect childhood that I had, even though I knew it wasn't perfect, but we had everything. Like, I went to private school, my dad had the latest cars, we had a big house, like, money was no object, you know. That was literally falling, crashing down before my eyes. People were leaving the church, like hundreds of people a week. You know, it was tough. And I think he was like escapism from that.
Okay, that makes sense. So when he said to you, oh, I want to court you, what happened from that point? How long did you date for?
So we dated for like 8 months and then I got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So we were like, funny, it's weird, it's very contradictory because although he had the church boy spiel, we were having sex.
Yeah.
So like, you're not meant to, really, for how, like, God told me you're my wife. Like, you know that we shouldn't.
Were you guys intimate quite quickly? Was that something that happened right off the bat?
Probably like a month or 2 in, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
All I know, it was regular enough for me to get pregnant. Babe.
Yeah, of course. So now you're 23.
So by the time I got pregnant, I was 23.
You're 23, you're pregnant. What is the next step?
So my dad at this point had moved to Derby and I wasn't really on the greatest terms with him because I think I blamed him for everything that had happened.
The breakdown of your family.
Yeah. And I was living with my mum and I was so scared to tell her. Like, I waited till I was about 15 weeks to tell her, even though I found out when I think I was like 8 weeks when we found out. Anyway, and I told her, I just sat down, it was like a Saturday morning, and I was like, Mum, I've got something to tell you. She had met him by this point, and she did like him, and he was like the only boyfriend of mine that she had ever met. So I was like, I'm pregnant. She was like, what? She was like, my God. Like, as if this family hasn't gone through enough. Like, now we will be in fact, all of our enemies in this London will really laugh. Like, she was just like, everyone's gonna laugh. You've brought shame, like more shame to this family. You better marry him. Like, what is the plan? Is the plan marriage? I was like, I don't really know, Mum. Like, you know, we've just found out. I think he had told his parents and that went horribly wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were like, well. And then my mum, like a week later, said, I'm going to Nigeria. So she left me in her 4-bed house, went to Nigeria and didn't come back until I was 36 weeks pregnant.
Oh,
so,
wow.
like, literally left.
So
like,
21 weeks of your pregnancy,
literally,
she was gone.
The whole thing.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
And how did you cope with that?
So I had no choice, I felt, but to beg it with my ex's mum. Like, because what can I do?
Yeah.
Like,
so when your mum went to Nigeria, were you in contact with her?
not really.
Why
I
did
can't really remember. Like,
Okay.
she was doing her own thing. So she was always very busy at that time. And, you know, like she would put on women's events and conferences or whatever. And did I speak to her? Like, not in a way that's memorable.
Okay.
Obviously enough for her to know when the baby was due. And she always said that she will come back in time for that. But in terms of like, Mum, what do I do? Oh, I've heard you. I felt a kick. Oh, no.
Wow.
Nothing.
So when you begged it with your mother-in-law, how was that relationship like? Was she forthcoming, welcoming?
Yeah, she was decent. She took me to mother care
Okay.
for the first time. So like we were looking at like stuff that you need for the baby.
Yeah.
She did her best, even though she wasn't happy with the situation.
Okay.
They then went to meet my dad, because again, like,
Your mum's not here?
yeah, my mum's not here, so my dad needs to know, you know, I wasn't on good terms with my dad. So they did like make the conversation with my dad happen.
Yeah.
I felt like by the time my mum came back, and this is where it went left, like my mum came back with the energy, like, I'm the mother of you're my daughter. So she came, and when the baby was born, she wanted to do those, like, give him his first bath and do all those
the African bath
duties.
thing,
Right. But then my mother-in-law wanted to do that. And actually I felt like, well, she's actually been
here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she should do that. And so when we had the baby, when we had our son, I had a C-section, really terrible time. But the first night that we went home, my mum was there with my brother and his wife at the time, and my mother-in-law was there. And my mother-in-law started giving the baby a bath in our bedroom, and my mum was in the living room, and I think my sister-in-law or something said, oh, Mum, shouldn't it be you doing the bath? And my mum was like, absolutely, yes, it should be. And then they started arguing.
Your mum,
my mum and my
your
mother-in-law.
Oh, God.
Imagine, like,
Over the blue baby.
And then my mum storms out with my brother and sister-in-law, and I didn't see her for like 6 weeks or something. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Crazy.
Wow. So it's fair to say that you and your mum had somewhat of a rocky relationship.
Do you know what? Having said all of that, we were close.
Okay.
But in a very toxic way. So,
Okay.
like, I felt bad that that was her reaction. I felt like maybe it was wrong for her to not do the bath. But then I thought, but she wasn't here. And then I thought, but would she have to react like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Essentially, I never wanted her to be upset because I felt like she had gone through so much.
Yeah.
And she was very, like, controlling in a way that it was hard to... Okay, so the best way to explain it is naturally you love your mum so much.
Yeah.
And if your mum storms out, you're going to try and do something to...
Yeah, appease her.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how it was. So when she was angry, yes, we wouldn't speak for weeks, but I would try and win her back and appease her.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it was actually too difficult to annoy her. So it meant that, like, I started to do everything that she wanted. Because by this point, we hadn't legally married yet.
Okay.
So our son was born in January 2014. To appease my mum after all of that ruckus after he was born, we had a trad in August 2014 because that would made her happy. She wanted to know that we were going to get married.
Yeah.
Right? And the year after, in the October, we then got legally married, even though I knew at that point that I was making the biggest mistake of my life.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So obviously we've spoken about this, and you mentioned that the chaos that was happening in your family made you see your ex whilst meeting him as like stillness, like he was a sound guy, he had his ish together, his family was well put together, and that in turn made you miss a lot of things about him. So talk to me about the things that you missed.
I missed the fact that he couldn't make decisions without approval. And what I mean by that, I was by myself a lot of my pregnancy. Like I said, my mum wasn't in the country, and we didn't actually start living together until 2 months before our child was born. So throughout my whole pregnancy, I was alone. Like he wouldn't stay over, he wouldn't do anything because his parents wouldn't let him. So I thought that's a very unnatural and unhealthy. My mum and dad said no. So it means...
At what age? How old was he?
He
at
was
this point?
25.
Okay.
But as in like, you're having a child.
Yeah.
So...
Why would his parents say no?
Because apparently, because it was my mum's house, he shouldn't stay at my mum's house. But they weren't inviting me to their house to stay. I'm like, I would stay anywhere at this point. I just don't want to be by myself.
Yeah, of course.
Like in a
and
pregnancy.
you shouldn't be.
Yeah. It was awful. So that was a red flag. But again, like...
You're pregnant.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. Like it wasn't anything sinister. It didn't lead to what actually then transpired. There weren't any amber or red flags showing what the true problem was.
Okay, so now you haven't found anything out. What happens from the moment you've given birth?
I would say our son was about 6 months. Yeah, I started to think that finances don't really make sense. Like there's some things that I just got a feeling that wasn't nice, but I don't know. I didn't really know where to test it or what I was feeling. My ex then said that, like, because we had our trad date set for the August, that we should be celibate from the point when our son was born until our trad to sort of honour God, because we hadn't honoured God because we had a baby outside of wedlock and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that's really admirable, fine, sounds good. But then shortly after our trad, I think it was like the night of, and again, don't ask me how, but I found out that he had been watching porn. And I was like, why would you do this?
The night before your trad?
It was the night of, because after the trad, we then went to a hotel. So I think it was then in the hotel. Like I must have seen his phone or something. And I was like, and we had an argument because I was like, why would you be watching this stuff? Because if you're horny like that, why aren't we just having sex?
Yeah.
Like, you're the one that said, let's
celibate or abstain. Yeah.
But then again, I don't know, babe. I just brushed it off. Like, I'm like, whatever. Like,
especially
I've been celibate for 8 months or whatever. I wanted to get my back scratched at that point. So whatever. We just did whatever we did and just kept it kicking. But a few months after that, again, I just felt like our finances didn't make sense.
And when you say it didn't make sense, what exactly do you mean?
At that point, right, and I'll just give like pure figures, I was earning like 35k. He was earning maybe like 30k. Our rent was £900 a month. Our bills were like £200. So let's say we get like £3,000 a month or £3,500 together, and our outgoings are like 1-2. We should have money. We never had money. Like everything felt really tight. And we would, at that point, we would do things like 50-50. I've just come off like mat leave and stuff like that. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing 50-50 with you. Like, why aren't you doing more? And he just never would have it. Like, he'll just say, oh, I don't have it. So that was weird to me. And whenever I would be like, okay, we both earn a decent amount, we should have surplus. Like, when are we going to start saving towards buying a place maybe? He'll be like, no, I don't have money. Like, we just don't have money. So things like that, do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't really go out to eat. We didn't do anything nice. It felt like we were scrimping. But knowing how much he earned, I felt like we shouldn't be scrimping. Anyway, I think like a few months or maybe like even up to 6 months went on, and I'm having doubts, but I just don't know what to do, because it's not like he goes out late or anything. One day I just think, I'm going to start looking at your bank statements. So I started looking at his statements, and I could see cash withdrawals almost every couple of days, £100, £200. This guy doesn't buy clothes. Like I said, he doesn't go out like that. So I'm thinking, huh? And then one night, right, it was like 3 a.m. and I woke up, and you know when you sense that someone's awake? So he was awake and he was looking at his phone, and like for like 20 minutes, and I just pretended to be asleep, but I was still awake. And then he left. He got out the bed, went to a loo. I clocked he had a massive like heart on. I don't know if I can say this, but he had left his phone, right? So I looked at his phone, I looked at messages, nothing there. I don't know what I was looking for, but I went on his browser and it looked like Auto Trader, but it was women. And I thought, and it was like pink and it was like different women and like descriptions and stuff. So I went into work that morning and I was saying to my colleague, I was like, babe, like I've seen this on my partner's phone and I've seen lots of cash withdrawals. And she was like, oh, like, do you think he's going to escorts? And I was like, what do you mean escorts? Like, I genuinely didn't know.
That didn't cross your mind.
At all. And she was like, I don't know, girl, but like,
that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like. So you should ask him. So I thought, okay, cool. That evening, I thought I'm gonna ask him, but I'm gonna ask with such vim, where it's like, I know what you've done. You better start chatting, type thing. And then he burst into tears. Basically, he's been doing that since he was 19.
Doing what?
Going to prostitutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's what the cash withdrawals were for. That's why you don't have enough money.
Exactly. And I'm like, huh? Listen, I was like, huh? Took it to our pastors at the time. I'm like...
How old were you at this point?
So I would have been 25.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
Just had a baby, just got married. Now you find out he's seeing prostitutes.
Yeah.
Where did you even find them?
Babe, it's a whole thing.
It's a business. It's a
whole thing. Like, we lived in Sydenham at the time. On the high street, there's like a brothel.
Oh.
No, it's mad.
Oh, wow.
It's mad. Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
It's mad.
Wow.
Like, and so took it to the church. Then that's when all the madness started. It was like, he needs therapy, he needs counselling, deliverance. Like, this is your, this is the devil attacking. This is where you step into your role as a wife. This is where and you're like, okay. And my mum's like, men cheat. And I'm like, okay. Because like, I get it. My dad cheated, but not like this. Like, I'm like, cheating is one thing, but paying for it, like, that's totally different.
Did you ever ask your ex why even if he was gonna cheat, why don't you just cheat with?
All the time I would say that, but it was a learnt behaviour, and there's not even time to go into like the reasons. But when it gets to that point and someone wants to stop something and they can't, it's classed as an addiction, right? And he had been doing it for years, and there was a trauma point which was in his childhood, I'm guessing. You could rationalise it and you almost feel sorry for them. And because he was always very remorseful and willing to change, it would be easier to be like, get the hell out of here. If he was like, no, this is just me, like, you either put up with it or, No, he wasn't like that. He was very sorry each time. But year in, year out, he would stop. Then there'll be some sort of trigger point and then a relapse. And thanks to the Holy Spirit, I can only say it's that, I would keep finding out. There was a point where our son was 2.5. This was 2016. And he actually left our son in a car at night while our son was sleeping and went to a brothel in Thornton Heath. Yeah. And when I found that out, very quickly after, because again, the Holy Spirit, I was like, nah. I was like, whatever is pushing you is too much. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. A few weeks later, I find out I'm pregnant again. So I'm like, God, you hate me because I'm now like coming up to 20, so I'm 26 at this point. I'm like, what am I gonna do with a toddler, a newborn on the way? My mum's like, men cheat, like just stick with him. I've got nowhere to go. So that is how Mide, like year in, year out, this was my life. In 2018, I finally told his parents, thinking like, no, I'm not gonna carry this by myself, like just with church to church. Like, We then went to a different church after our second born, like a more English church, thinking that maybe that might, like maybe we need a change of scenery, maybe we need different type of leadership. Same thing.
Wow.
Yes, I told his parents in 2018 and they were like, he needs deliverance, you know, like they're from, or they were in that type of church where it's like, fire, da, 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 da. So we tried that, everything. And, you know, I think what is so difficult is that, like, on the surface, you wouldn't know any of this was happening. So it's weird, like, just how I grew up, I became really good at masking it. And we would dress up and go to church and see friends, and we were like the model family. You know, his line of work is very pro-equality, like, all of this good stuff, you know. He's seen as like such a good guy. He loves the kids. He's very hands-on, like just like my dad. So, and my energy is more like, you know, so no one could clock what was happening. And even when they knew, because I would tell them, I know people thought, it must be her.
Yeah.
She does something that's, yeah. And I would be like to him, do you know who I am? Like, from a point where I take my vows so seriously that I'm not cheating on you. But like the fact that you're putting me through this, you know, when you start to think like, you're not even my type like that. I never accepted cheating in my early 20s. So how have I married someone that is cheating on me in the worst way? And I'm just there.
Wow.
It got to September 23 and I'm coming up to my 35th birthday and I'm like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like, actually, the 2 years before that, I started to really pray on it, babe. I started to say, my life is becoming like my mum's in a bad way.
Yeah.
God, wherever I've erred, you need to deliver me. I fasted for the first time ever. I think this must have been 2022, actually. I fasted, I cancelled work. I said, God, it's me and you.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, soon after that, I got a job that was amazing, worked for the best boss. And why this is relevant is the year after I blurted out to them what was going on. And they were like, you need to get out of that situation.
Quick question. Obviously, like, he's sleeping with all these different women and things like that. Was there any, like, sexually transmitted diseases or anything?
Because actually, they have to keep it strapped.
Okay.
Have to, yeah.
Okay.
This isn't like, this is the thing, like, when you think prostitutes, you might think street ones and, like, really dirty, like, but, and I would ask him questions. And like, as part of our therapy and stuff, I would ask questions because I'm curious as well. And he would be like queasy or nervous about answering, but he would answer, but it's not like that. Like, you have to be really protected.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense because even in the porn industry, they have to have regular testing and things like that. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And I would be like to him, what is it that you're going for? Like, because it's not that our sex life was bad, but as it kept going on, our intimacy dipped. So we would have sex, because I've got a high sex drive. We'd have sex, but I'd be like, no kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, no. There was no
Sorry,
intimacy.
I
I know. That's my energy. Yeah. So like things like that were lacking. But I would be like, who are you going for? Like, and it would be like white women with like fake boobs.
Oh.
But in real life, he doesn't like white women.
Oh.
It was weird.
What?
I know.
That is interesting.
It was weird.
So now you've blurted out to your boss,
Yes.
and they've said you've got to get out.
Yeah, they were literally like, but I was like, I can't survive like as a single parent, like financially, because even though I was earning a decent amount, by this point we were both earning a decent amount, and it meant that our outgoings were pretty high. So, like, let's say 6K a month or something like that. So I'm like...
As in each?
No.
Together?
Like, together.
Yeah.
Like, our household bills and everything and childcare and whatnot was about that amount. So I'm like, I can't do that by myself.
Yeah.
So my boss was like, here's a loan. Like, you have to pay me back, but just to help you through this season.
Wow, that's a good boss.
Very, as in like that prayer and fasting that I did in 2022 before I got that job, I know that was
the result of that. Yeah,
100%. And that meant that as a woman, like it's important to feel financially able to end a marriage.
Yeah.
Many women can't and don't, and I wouldn't have, because there are two reasons why I didn't earlier. Firstly, I didn't have the support, like I said. Secondly, he's a very hands-on dad, and I was a bit of a hands-off mum.
Okay.
Like I put routines and structure in place, but I'm not very cuddly.
Oh, okay.
And stuff.
Do you reckon that is because of your upbringing?
Yeah. I just didn't have that from my mum.
Okay.
Like if you cuddled my mum, she would like tense up. Like, or she'll be like, what do you want? Do you know what I mean? So I found that I was like that as a mum as well. Whereas he like would fall about with the boys laughing, like they could hug him, you know, so like it did work, but I'm very logical as well. I'm like, I can't give them that. I don't have that emotional depth. And without that, I knew that they would struggle when they were younger. And even when I did ask for a separation, my pastor at the time said to me, we know you and we know you're very driven, very corporate, whatever. Know that your boys are going to need you to be soft and emotional. And I will never forget that. So it meant that, like, yeah, in the separation, I had to relearn motherhood and relearn to, like...
How old were... Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So our boys were 7 and 10.
Okay.
And yes, when we told them, like, they burst into tears and it was sad. But we were like, Mummy and Daddy are so committed to raising you both. We don't want to be married, but we're both your parents and you're going to see us both loads. Do you know what I mean? I relearned motherhood. I slowed down with work and I was just very present with the boys. And it meant that I, you know, hugged them more, listened to them more. I had to step into that, like, I'm not a drill sergeant because they've lost their dad day to day who did give them that, like, emotional outlet. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So now you guys have separated. You're 35 at this point, you said. What is the shared custody like at this point?
So at this point, so when I asked for the separation, he took it so badly and said that he was basically gonna kill himself. So it meant that I was very like, I don't want any of that. So I didn't even take the family house keys off him. I was like, you can come here whenever you like, do the school run. He did that like 3 mornings a week. And then he had them on the weekends. And then I had them like all the time after that. And then, or in between that, shall I say. So that was like the first few months. But then we solidified it a bit where they were with me during the week and then with him on the weekends.
Okay.
And we had that in like a court order. We used a divorce service called Amicable, which is like mediation. So it's to avoid court, to avoid it being dragged out.
Yeah.
You just like talk and there's someone that manages the whole thing. And so I paid for that because I thought I want this to be like the nicest way possible. And I was like, I don't even want any money from him for the kids. And our case advisor was like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, even though you're good financially, like, he should pay towards the kids' extracurricular stuff, like, so that their lifestyle is maintained. Regardless of what's happening with you two, they've become accustomed to a certain way of life. Breakfast club, after school club, football, athletics, guitar, piano, you know, a lot of things. That shouldn't stop. So based on my ex's salary, they came up with that figure.
And you said in the video that it was like 4 figures.
It was £1,000 a month.
£1,000 a month, okay. Yeah, he must have been earning a good amount.
Yeah, he was earning a good amount, yeah. And actually, I think my mistake in hindsight is that that money was paid to me because I would receive it and just pay all the invoices.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it made it seem like
he was
he's
giving
paying
it to you.
me, but I'm just a vehicle and a funnel to then pay all those invoices.
Yeah.
So actually, in hindsight, he should have just paid all the invoices from that pot that is allocated to that. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it murky. Like if we move on, right? So that is the agreement that we had, like I said, and it was salary based.
Yeah.
We got legally divorced in August 24. The rest of 24 was cool. The end of 24, my job has to move to Dubai. And imagine, this is a job that I love. This is a boss that I love. Like, has literally helped me through everything. But they are based in Dubai. We're opening up, the company is opening up a new Dubai office.
Yeah.
They're like, his EA has to be based in Dubai. Charlotte, do you want to go? I can't go. At this point, my mum had had a fall. Our eldest was doing exams for secondary school. Like, it was just a bad time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't go to Dubai. And plus we co-parent, so how can I take the kids? Again, these times I'm being super mindful. Like, how can I take the kids 7 hours away on a flight when I co-parent with their dad? So I turned it down, took a redundancy. 2025 was shocking for me. Like, single parent, being made redundant. I literally managed to buy a flat.
Was that off of the redundancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Used every penny, sold my car. You know, like when you get into somewhere and it's actually the 21st of March, which I think is tomorrow, will be a year since I got my flat. And you walk in and you're like, God, this is a miracle. God, thank you. Like, I'm now the only homeowner in my whole family. Imagine my parents, all the properties they had and stuff, they had sold it, spent the money, like just everything, chaos, right? So I'm like, God, thank you. But I'm like, I've got no furniture. I've got no money. Like I'm literally in the brokest position I've ever been in. I'm scared. I don't have a car. I've never not had a car since I was 18. Like, the boys went to their dad's for the weekend because I completed on the Friday, and they came home to our new place on the Sunday evening, And on Monday, I'm like, boys, we're getting the bus to school. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are kids that, not being funny, but like, I had a BMW X3. Like, we've been good.
They're like, what's the bus?
They're like, you know, it seemed like an adventure at first. But then after week 2, you're like, it's raining and we're still getting the bus. It's cold and we're still getting the bus. And I'm literally like, there in my little like mulberry bags, like running for the bus 96. Like, it was just chaos.
Oh, gosh,
like,
yeah, I can imagine.
And I couldn't get a new role that matched my earnings and everything because the industry had changed. And they want their EAs in the office like 4 or 5 days a week. I can't do that when I'm busing it to school. You know, like there's no time. I can't drop them and go to Central and pick them up. Like, everything was really on me. So I thought, okay, I've got a bit of like business experience. I'm pretty gritty. Let me set up a business. I had to go on Universal Credit. It was mad. Like, I've never walked through financial hardship like that. And I know that might sound like man up, like, you know, people struggle all the time. That's not even a struggle. But if you can imagine, like, you've never experienced that.
No, it is a struggle. Anybody to say like that it would be silly. That's a struggle.
It's mad. It's not anything that I've been used to. And it was so quick. I remember there was a weekend, it was probably like May last year, May 25, and my boys were at their dad's, and I'm literally like in my flat, no motive, nowhere to go, no car. Like, I'm like, this is dead. Like, and I downloaded Hinge. Because, I had never online dated before. I know. Because after our separation, I had reconnects from uni. It was great. Brunei was a wonderful place.
Brunei
because,
was, listen. Brunei was I had a good time.
I had a good time. And I managed to scroll through my phone book, and iCloud is good, you know, because my old contacts from way back that's who I reconnected with when I first separated. Now, I ruined them because I was on a hype. So,
what do you mean you ruined them?
I treated one guy really badly.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did. I think I just started dating too soon.
Okay.
So I was angry and I was like, again, like I reverted to the whole no man's gonna play me.
Oh.
Like, cause
But
I
that's fair
actually got
though.
played
Yeah, that's
in
fair.
marriage.
It's not fair to him,
No,
but it's fair in
he
terms
didn't
of
deserve
like,
it,
yeah,
but
the,
yeah. So anyway, so I'm like, I've exhausted all the guys I know in real life. So I've heard about this Hinge thing.
Yeah.
Never online dated, because obviously I met my ex in 2012, where online dating wasn't really a thing.
Let's just pivot a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Online dating, are we saying yes? Are we telling the girlies yes? Never.
Listen.
I'm with you.
Listen, but I was on a hype. So I'm scrolling, I'm like matching or liking or whatever. Some people are coming on and they want a good chat, and I'm like, do you want to meet up, yes or no? I'm bored, I ain't got no money. Man needs to get a leg over, like something. I know, God forgive me. I remember I told you, that's my Achilles heel. That is my Achilles heel. But in marriage, I'm nothing like that. Like, I'm so committed.
Yes.
Right?
I feel like we're the same person.
Yeah. I knew. When I heard you're a liar, I was like, that's my sis. Anyway, I was looking for someone that would just get off the app quick and like we would
do what we need to do. Yeah.
I met him. My God, he was fun to begin with, but the switch, like he was scary.
Oh.
Yeah, he was scary. When I was trying to like end things, he was shouting at me in my flat, like screaming.
Oh my.
But even before that, like, he was honest with me about his lifestyle, and his lifestyle wasn't it. Like, he would almost like get taken on weekenders by women just to like...
What?
Like to have sex.
So he was a...
He wouldn't call himself that, but that's the kind of behaviours. And he was like, but I like you. And these were like pre-booked trips.
Not pre-booked.
Yeah, and I'm like, but they're women taking you on weekenders, paying for you, and they want you, like, listen, I thought, don't tell me I've gone from what I've gone from.
The twist of event is crazy.
Listen, I said, God.
No, this has to be a joke.
I said, in fact, like the prodigal son, that's what I felt like in that moment. I was like, God, I've messed up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is mental.
This is mad. And I think that, like, and how scary that was. My ex was there as a friend. And at this point, I was almost having like a meltdown because I felt like I don't have money. I don't have the career that I like. This guy is weird. I'm with a weirdo. Everything is going wrong.
Yeah.
So one day I was like bawling my eyes out, and I called my ex, and like he was like, I can help you. Like, maybe it's time to get therapy. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. I didn't realise that your finances were so bad. I've got a bit of money saved up. I could help you pay your mortgage. This and that. Like, he really stepped in. And I was like, rah, like, I've not seen that side to him before.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh?
Because we did everything 50-50.
Oh.
Like, I've never seen him be like, I've got you. No, not financially. So I was like, oh, like, maybe this separation and whatnot has made him change. So then I literally, like, we went out for lunch one day, and I said, I think we should get back together.
Was that off of the back of this Hinge guy, or just like...
Yeah, I was like,
the streets are dark.
The streets are not for me.
The streets
like,
are dark.
Better the devil that I know.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Especially if I have kids with him, especially if we are friendly, especially if now, like, in my time of need, he's stepping up. Yeah. So he was like so shocked, and it was like, yeah, let's do this. So that was June last year, and by like August, September, I knew I had made a mistake.
Oh, was that 3 months?
Yeah, because like you can only hide what's truly inside.
It's always 3 months, you know.
Is it?
It's always 3 months. That's why that's the 90-day rule. because it's like it takes 3 months. This is allegedly according to Steve Harvey, but it takes it takes 90 days for a man to show his true colours. Yeah.
So he did, in the sense of like, we would be out, like just even in blue water, and like a woman will go past and he's like, oh yeah. So I could see that he's still lustful and stuff, and I'm like, are you all right? You know? But by this point, I'm just gonna call it out. Married me would be like, oh, like keeping it to myself. But now I'm like, are you well?
Yeah.
Like, is there something that, do you know what I mean? So things like that. And then I started to say, are we in or out? Like, are we really gonna give it, are we committing to each other? If so, like, are you gonna tell your family? Because all this time I hadn't heard from his family throughout our whole split.
Oh, wow.
They didn't contact me once. So I'm like, I'm not doing the whole family weird stuff again. Like, are we in or out? And that's when I could see that he started to like crumble.
But at this point, obviously he's got an addiction. You guys have split up, but you want to try and work it out. Have there been conversations about the addiction?
Yeah,
like, okay.
So apparently he is like, no, I don't do that anymore. Like, he just started dating. Because he started dating like in real life.
But he was married to you.
I know, but the thing about the addiction was that, and this, you know, I would always ask him, like, if you're going to cheat, why don't you just go to a club and cheat like normal people? I think it was a self-esteem thing.
Okay.
So he felt like maybe women wouldn't like him like that or something. I don't know. It's like a power thing, like to just book it or pay for it. Do you know what I mean? Where I think when we split, he started dating, like, properly, like on Hinge or whatever. Like, so I knew that he was meeting girls, and I think that made his confidence and self-esteem grow. And so he was saying that he didn't do that whole prostitute stuff again.
Okay.
Because I was like, and my energy, like I said, was like, I'm calling everything out if we're going to start again. I was like, you are going to give me all of your spare cash, so I know that you ain't got money for that.
Yeah.
And in fact, if I find out that you're doing anything like that, you have to pay me $5,000. Like, we were just laughing about it. But I was like, no, I'm not joking. Like, if that's the life that you want, remember, this Hinge dude showed me that the streets are whack. Yeah. So I'm like, if
You're trying to compromise.
Yeah. If that's going to be part of our life, fine. But I'm not going to be poor for it.
Yeah.
Me and my boys will be patterned.
Yeah.
And if you have spare change to do a madness after that, then do it. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I just knew by like September, August, September, that actually
this ain't it.
This ain't it. And I tried to end things in September. But my birthday's on the 1st of October, so we were quite rocky in September. But then my birthday came and he had a key, he had the set of keys to my flat, and he snuck into my flat with like balloons and a cake, and he was like, I've booked us dinner with the boys like for my birthday evening. I had no plans. So I was like, oh, you know, that's sweet. Again, you fall into this. A week later, I get a call to say that my mum had had a fall and she was in hospital. Now, then this was like the 8th of October. By the end of October, she's put on end of life. Like, she basically had a stroke. By the end of October, started to have seizures. They said she had a massive bleed on her brain. So you can imagine all of my attention is just on that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, okay, so what? My relationship's not working, but at least we're together. At least he could be with the boys while I'm with my mum. My mum got to see us all together, got to see him. She wasn't able to talk from like mid-October, but you could see that she drew comfort in like seeing us together. She passed away on the 13th of November. Mad.
I'm so
like,
sorry. That's so quickly.
So quickly. So quick. The end of life pathway, once the doctors have decided that someone is end of life and medically they can't do anything to help them, they essentially stop giving them food and water. And I had to kick up and say, no, like, because she couldn't swallow. Like, basically her functionality had stopped, where like, you can't, it's your brain that controls drinking and eating, right? And she couldn't control that. But I said, you have to give her fluids, like IV. You have to, because they try and say that prolonging someone's life, it's a whole complex thing, but prolonging someone's life when medically there's nowhere to go from here is actually like inhumane. And I'm like, no, not giving someone water
is
inhumane. So anyway, so it was quick, but it would have been quicker if I hadn't pushed for fluids at least for her, yeah. Our relationship was complicated, like I said, but I'm grateful for that end of life period because it meant that like I just spoke to her, we just made peace. Like her and my dad had actually started talking at the beginning of last year, so he was there. Like it was as beautiful as it could be. Like lots of people from their former church like heard and came to visit her, and I think she definitely passed knowing that like people didn't hate her, people, you know, like, yeah. But being in the room and seeing your mum or any loved one breathing 1 minute and not the next will literally change your life. And my mum was so obsessed with approval from people. And you realise that, like, whether people like you, whether they don't, whether you have their approval, whether you don't, you're gonna die alone. Yeah. And you literally do. Yeah. And you die with nothing. So that was mad.
And what was the support like from your ex?
Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible. Like, unbelievably terrible.
In what way?
In like, so he was at mine. My mum passed on a Thursday. By like the Monday, Tuesday, he was like, I've got to work. I've got to start work at 7:30. Are you going to take the boys to school? And I'm like...
But he was taking the boys to school previously?
Yeah.
So what was the change? Why did...
I have to crack on with work. Like I've been holding the fort while you were at the hospital 24/7. His energy was like, now your mum's dead. Now we need to get back to like normal scheduling.
Damn.
And I was like, whoa. I burst into tears. I was like, why are you here if you're not going to support me? Like, even to do the school run, you would still be able to be at your desk at 8:30. You don't need to start work at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, you might as well not be here if you're not going to support me. So at least I know that I'm just in single mum mode.
So at this point, he had moved in?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because
not
obviously
officially,
you were...
but I was in the hospital all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much. And then a week after was actually his birthday, and I had booked us a spa day, but then I was on the phone trying to sort out my mum's funeral stuff, and just, there's a lot of admin, like when someone passes, so I wasn't really like focused, but I tried to make it a good day for him still. A couple of days after that, his energy was off. I'm like, what's the matter? You know, he's saying he's so depressed that he wants to like, again, so depressed, I want to kill myself. I'm like, why? He's saying that everything is so intense. Like, I'm in your place with you and the boys, like all day, every day, all week. Whereas like, I thought I had more time to live with my parents and just see the boys on the weekend still. Like, I thought I had more time, even though we're back together, but to not jump into like, we're together every day, because I still want to like do my own thing and pattern myself financially. And I'm like, what is it that the boys and I take from you that you can't work hard and pattern yourself financially? I was like, hold on a minute, let me get this straight. You go out, he literally will be at UK Black Business Show with our boys doing like Black Dad of the Year, and you're telling me that being with me and your kids 7 days a week is depressing you? Less than 2 weeks after my mum has died. So I was just like, yeah, this man is trying to make me go crazy. So I thought to myself, just park it, focus on your mum's funeral, because there was a lot of stuff going on there as well. I've never planned a funeral before.
Yeah.
You're trying to do it. The good thing is my mum always said that she wanted to be buried in the UK. So I knew that I didn't have to bother about sending her home or whatever. But there's still a lot of people's opinions that, like, you have to try and process. My brother's very detached. He wasn't helping me with anything. My dad gets us use of like a massive church. That's his friend's church. Because again, in death, my mum's pastor status came back, and it's like everyone wants to be at her funeral. Like, it's going to be a big thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a normal little thing. This is Pastor Iffy. Pastor Iffy's died. So I'm like contending with all of that. I'm like, I can't deal with your madness. Let me just focus on the funeral. Focus on that. My mum's buried on the 11th of December. It was a beautiful ceremony and everything. That weekend, my ex takes the boys to his parents. So imagine, like, your mum's funeral's on a Thursday. Typically, culturally, you shouldn't leave a bereaved woman like by herself. So my best friends actually came to stay with me that weekend, and I thought in my head, I'm done. Like, I'm packing all of his stuff, and he's going. Do you know what I mean? So by the following Tuesday, I did just that, packed his stuff. I'm like, we're done. Like, what you have showed me in this season is like worse than an enemy. I was like, if your mum had died, you would be bedridden for months. I don't know anyone our age really whose mum has died like that, you know? And they've had to see it, and they've had to plan everything, and they've had to, and I was like, you're actually wicked. And I don't know what your agenda is, but you know when someone switches so much, like, and the way they behave, you think you're an agent of the devil. Like, you must have been sent to make me mad. But you failed.
You will not succeed.
You will not succeed, right? So then he went, at first, like around Christmas time, he was trying to like, be like, I'm sorry, I've realised how wrong I was. You're a phenomenal woman. Please, can we try again, this and that? But I was like, nope, nope. And then he switched. And by New Year's, I saw a different side to him. And I thought...
So it got even darker.
Yeah. Like when the begging didn't work. And he knew I was serious and I said no, then he got mean. But I'm like, nothing can faze me at this point because I've been through the worst now. Seeing your mum go out like that, you become almost like numb. So January came, and January was tough. And again, I'm doing the school runs, I'm doing this, I barely have any money. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. Like, I need to do something else. And it was prayer and fasting in January. I'm like, maybe I'll go back to Dubai. Like, maybe I'll chase that opportunity. I know enough people in Dubai now. Like, I reached out to my former boss. That opportunity isn't still there, but he's like, gave me a list of schools, gave me like...
There's other things.
There are other things, like... So I literally used my last money, and decided, like, on the 28th of Jan that I'm going to go to Dubai with the boys. We went on the 2nd of Feb, like literally 2 days after, like 4 days after I booked it. And we were there for 2.5 weeks. And I was chatting to people, like seeing what work opportunities they were, looking at areas, looking at schools, like trying to be like, I'm going to move out here with the boys. I don't know how, because I'm going to have to pull them out of school in the UK. Like, it's going to be a big undertaking. But I'm willing to do it because
the life UK, that you're living,
it's not it. It's not it. But because my boys are at a certain age, I'm like, boys, this is what I'm thinking. You have a choice though. You could either come with me, or you could stay in the UK.
Why did you come to that decision? Because, like, obviously, as a mother myself, if I was to move out of the UK, even though my daughter is in that age where she is a bit more like aware of things, I personally wouldn't give her that option. Do you know what I mean?
So for my eldest, my 12-year-old, that option was more for him.
Okay.
Because he is in year 7, but he's going to boarding school in year 9.
Okay.
Here in the UK.
Is that like a private school?
Yes.
Okay.
A great school. Like it's just God that he got into it, right? So I thought to myself, it's a bit mad to like have a child start year 7, right, in September, and then in the February, March, pull him out to start school in Dubai for a year, and then he's going to have to come back to the UK and start another school.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like he will have, that opportunity is amazing. Like he's going, do you know what I mean? So it's bad enough that, and he vocalizes this, especially, you know what kids are like, he's made friends in his current school.
Yeah.
It's bad enough for him that he's only going to be there for year 7 and 8 and has to move to a whole new different school to board from year 9.
Yeah.
So he was like, Mummy, there's no way I'm like leaving to start school in Dubai for a year only to go to another school in the UK. So he was always like, I would most likely stay in the UK. And when I talk about my kids, I know he's 12, and I'm telling you he's 12. If you met him, the way his brain reasons, you would think he was 15, 16.
Okay.
Like he's very mature.
Okay.
That's why he's going to one of the best schools in the UK.
Yeah.
His brain is like something else.
Okay.
When I was made redundant, imagine he was 10 going on 11. When I finally told the boys, I don't work at the company that Mummy worked at, because they loved it. They would always come to the office. They always had like kids parties and stuff. He was like, Mummy, what are you going to do for money? You know, like what is your plan? This is an 11-year-old. He doesn't play. He's super mature.
Yeah.
My youngest, who's 9 and in year 4, I had hoped that he would come with me to Dubai, because I felt like you haven't started the 11+ grammar school route. You're not really locked into anything in the UK. It's easier for you to come with me, and I'll put you in a great school and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? But after the 2.5 weeks, again, maybe I didn't do it justice, because they're very into sport and they're into football here and whatnot. And I didn't replicate that and show them that we would be doing that in Dubai. So they were just, even he was like, oh, Mummy, I think I would want to stay in the UK just because I would miss my friends, but I miss football, I would miss this and that. But every single holiday, can we come out to Dubai with you? Okay. And I said to them that in the summer, because it's so hot in Dubai, I would be in the UK anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've gone through their parents divorcing.
Yeah.
They've gone through co-parenting. They've gone through their grandma dying. They've actually gone through quite a lot that has matured them. And I've always raised them in a way where it's like, I'm just figuring it out. So, you know, like when you have kids young, it's like you almost grow together.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've never like been woohoo with them. And maybe because of my childhood as well, where I was exposed to a lot of information early.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we've overexposed them, but I definitely give them the choice.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because they show that they can handle it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when they said that they would both choose to live in the UK, but they could understand why I'm going, they think Dubai is going to be amazing for me.
Oh, bless them.
They're like, because we were walking all over the marina, and they're like, Mummy, this is so you. And like seeing my friends there, they just knew I was happier than I am in the UK, where it has become miserable for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So when we got back, informed their dad that that's what they had decided.
Was that a worry for you? Especially because of everything that he's kind of like done, and obviously this addiction that he has as well. And also like his parents.
So the thing is, I've had to get over quite a lot of that fear just in co-parenting with him. My natural reaction when we split would be, I don't want the boys to spend any time with you. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't do that. It has meant that I know that his family and him, for all of their sins, they actually love the boys and they do treat them well. And my boys will tell me if they didn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it does go against my natural maternal instinct, but there are a couple of things. Firstly, I respect their decision. Secondly, I actually know that my ex and his family are good to them. Thirdly, I know that it is a waste of time to try and get kids to not like their dad, even if they've done you wrong.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what happened with my parents. Remember?
Yeah,
my
you
mum,
ran to your dad.
I ran to my dad. And my mum tried everything when they were divorcing to make me dislike my dad.
Did that make you dislike your mum?
No, it made me think, you make no sense to me because you are my mum and he is my dad. You can't be my dad, he can't be my mum. I'm very logical. And I'm actually very like, you give me what you give me as my mum. He gives me what he gives me as my dad. To try and make me cut off one of you is stupid. Why would I do that? And I would always say to her, like, he doesn't try and make me stop talking to you. And so you're making yourself look worse by doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I learned from my upbringing that that doesn't work. So all I do now is, yes, it goes against my natural thing. All I could do for my boys is pray for them that they don't see any behaviour that turns them off, makes them feel away, and they don't absorb any behaviour that is not Christ-like.
Yeah.
Babe, if God doesn't protect or build the house, the labourers labour in vain. There's nothing I can do. Even if and this is something that I think women need to learn, like, especially mums, like, we're not the protector of those kids.
Yeah.
You can try and keep them under your bosom, but they're going to leave. They're going to be in school. They're going to see what they're going to see. They're going to grow.
And they're going to be influenced by, like, their environment.
We are just custodians.
Yeah.
God is the actual, you know. So that's what gives me peace. I mean, yeah, a lot of people online have been like, as a mum, I would never leave my kids. But remember, if it was 2 girls or a girl, I wouldn't. But actually, the stage that my boys are at, they actually get more from their dad. My eldest son, his body is doing things that I can't explain to him. And actually, being with their dad is more beneficial in a weird way. Do you know what I mean?
And I think as well, something that you mentioned in terms of, like, being here is just, it's become miserable.
Miserable.
And you can't pour into them when you're empty and you're not doing well for yourself.
And more than that,
Yeah.
I've had 5 months mortgage arrears. Like, my mortgage providers, with my mum's passing, was like, fine, when it comes to bereavement, they could freeze my mortgage and stuff. But they're like, once that is done in March, you have to start paying. Like, you can't be under that much financial pressure and stress and think you could still parent well and stay in your house that you can't afford. I have to leave at this point. I have to chase a better opportunity, but I also need to rent out that place to cover the mortgage.
Yeah.
Imagine if I lose it. Like, then what?
Yeah. So now let's get on to the viral conversation. After all of that, we've given context and perspective. But now let's get into the gritty part of it. You're not working. You're in mortgage arrears. You know, you don't have a car, you don't have a job, you're chasing an opportunity that is going to give you a better life, right? Because the boys have decided in their mature minds to stay in the UK, and your ex-husband has now said, oh, by the way, that £1,000 that I was paying because the boys are staying with me, you now need to pay it. You've come online and spoken about it. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah, so for me, it's like mathematically, that £1,000 was based on your salary at the time. And that has stopped. So you now use that to pay for whatever you need to pay for the boys, right? And how can I pay you £1,000 essentially? On what salary? Like, how can I even pay you £100 at this point? On what salary? And the thing is, he knows my financial situation. So I knew, and I replied to him and said, like, I literally thought he was using ChatGPT. I was like, where are you going to get the money from? I don't have it. And we've just come out of a relationship where you know I don't have it. Do you know what I mean? So what I said to him is that I'm going to rebuild myself, and in lieu of that, because the whole like schooling stuff is really my bag. He didn't go to a private school. He doesn't really think you need to go to private schools and things like that. So I'm like, I need a year or so, because I'm a hustler vibes, to pattern myself. Once the fees start in September 2027, I will pay it for our son. And for our youngest, whatever his secondary schooling looks like, I will pay it by God's grace. Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is all in an email. He's like, okay, like noted. So I'm basically going to be locked into school fees for 5 years, right? Which is far more than anything that you've had to pay. My point is, you don't need the money right now. You're trying to kick someone when they're down.
Yeah.
Because you are also living with your parents and you don't have outgoings. This is what I couldn't understand, that people couldn't understand. That £1,000 he was giving me, like I said, I was just a funnel paying invoices for providers. That didn't cover the roof over our head. It didn't cover the food for the boys. It didn't cover their clothes. It didn't cover any of that stuff. That came from me when they were in my house Monday to Friday. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he covered that when they were with him on the weekends. But here's the thing. The UK schooling system has 10 weeks holiday. If they are with me for 10 weeks in the year and I'm in Dubai paying for their flights and whatnot, and when they're with me, surely that's the equivalent of weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just felt like logic had left the room
Yeah.
for everyone.
I think it's because right now there's all of these, there's so much like discord between men and women, and like, you know, women should do the same as men, and men should, I don't know. I don't really understand it, because when I saw your video, I didn't even need a backstory.
Yeah.
I was just like, why is he asking you for money?
This, as in, and the thing is, I ended up doing so many videos trying to explain it. I'm like, I never fought for that kind of equality.
Yeah.
I am not like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want any situation where I'm giving
A man money. Yeah, it's
Sorry,
it's disgusting.
Because the thing is, you want that and you think I'm going to respect you after? That's why I'll be like, no
And that's
kissing.
why all the men in the comments were going so hard. Like, you lot should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed. I'm so sorry.
Literally.
I'm
where
so
are
sorry.
you? Ashamed of
I'm
yourself.
actually so sorry.
To be going halves with women or taking money from women. And, you know, I did say, my dad was like, that's illegal. And we were like, people were like, yo, your dad's stupid. I'm like, it was a figure of speech.
Yeah.
What he means is, in that, like, he can't comprehend it. He left every bit of money for my mum, apart from the properties that were in their joint names that they had to sell, and he got his share. Everything else,
He left to your mum.
yeah, it's like you can't be going toe to toe with a woman, like,
And who is the mother of your children as well.
come on.
Some men are just very backward in thinking. It's because they've been babied too much.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it's like. And no one will know me. No one will know the backstory. No one will know that. When I've got it, I've got it. I'm very lavish.
So just to quickly ask you, if you did have it, would you have paid?
Yeah, but it's like I wouldn't pay £1,000 because maybe we go halves.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because it's like, what am I paying for? Especially because I'm going to have the flight cost, the accommodation cost, the everything outside of term time. And I'm also going to be paying their school fees.
Which is way more than that.
And on top of that, right now, my flat is the only asset that is going to go to them. You live at your mum and dad's house. We don't know if your parents have left anything for the boys, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Oh, Lord. It's so interesting when you unpack a story and then all the bits start falling into place, and it's just like, So anyways, now that has been cleared up, are you still going? I know that there's a war right now.
Yeah.
But is the plan still to go to Dubai?
Not now.
Okay.
No, like the advice is it's not the best time.
Yeah.
And I actually thank God. This is the thing. It all comes down to God. Because had I been like, no, boys, you must follow me.
Yeah.
I would have pulled them out of school. And what would we be doing now? Because I'm stuck.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at
I'm
that.
in a hotel.
Yeah.
My flat's rented out. I don't actually have a home right now.
Wow.
So what would I be doing? I would be with my kids in a hotel. Sometimes you have to like relinquish control. Because I couldn't have foreseen that this had happened. So I will be moving somewhere else in the meantime because the UK still ain't it for me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, Dubai is not happening right now. I know. Wow. And I'm gutted, but it just doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah. And then what's the relationship like with you and the boy's dad?
Really bad now. Like we don't communicate. Like we've had to, throughout all of this that's popped off, I now have a solicitor who got involved and, you know, it will go down that route. So I guess the less I say about that, the better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame because when we first did get divorced, we were amicable.
Yeah.
And that's what I always wanted.
Yeah.
Especially seeing that my parents, like, they had such a bad divorce. I always wanted to avoid that. But actually, I think I was very disappointed by everything that played out since my mum passed. And yeah, again, the whole kicking someone when they're down. Like, with everything that I've gone through, and this isn't a woe is me moment, but imagine in 12 months, right, you're made redundant, you buy a place, you're super broke, your mum dies, you're trying to pattern something for yourself, and then someone that is meant to have your back, just by virtue of the fact that you have their kids, is the one person that is kicking you in that moment. It's appalling.
Yeah.
Like, we will never get on again, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a side to you now where I'm like, rah, you're trying to make me crazy. But you will lose.
Amen. Amen to that. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. Before we wrap this up, so now that you are, I guess, like a free agent, are you dating? Are you like ready to mingle, single but ready to mingle?
Yeah, I actually came on my page on Valentine's Day. I was in Dubai. I was being like, this year I'm staying single.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like I owe it to myself to properly heal and figure out what I want and figure out if I could be happy without a man. I love men.
Yeah.
Too much. Too much. And actually, I feel like I should try and stay single. I said that, and then a week later, like, I was on a date.
Girl.
So. That is my Achilles heel.
When I say, what I said already, I genuinely feel like we're the same person. Because I say this all the time, like, I'm healing, okay? And then my girls will be like, okay. And then next week I'm dating. But I've actually haven't dated for 3 months now.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm actually going strong.
Wow. I'm gonna join you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna join
come
you.
over. It's very, like, my mind is clear. Because I'm like you. I don't like men in a sense of, like, how they sometimes behave. But when I like one, I like him. Like,
I actually like men as people. I think they're funny.
I like men as friends.
As friends, yeah.
I like them as friends.
Like, as in, if I sense a vibe, I'm like,
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah.
And it goes from like 0 to like...
And that's like me, and it's very distracting. I have things to do.
Yeah.
I have things to do, so I don't have time for men right now.
But as in, like, the DMs pop off. Like, this viral moment, I'm like, guys...
They're like, what you saying,
I
Mama?
know, yeah. Some of them, the ones that are actually cussing me on the thing, weird, by the way. Guys, the men that comment like that, you guys need to get a grip.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even...
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But then there's some of them in the DMs like, don't pay any attention to those weak men.
Yeah.
You need a real man.
You need a real man.
Listen, if I start with you, let me know. I'm trying to, as in, it's me and God this year.
Amen.
I'm like, God, why did you make me like this? Do you ever say, God, like...
I was literally praying about it the other day. I was just like, because I'm not going to lie, I love a penis. I won't lie. I do.
Yeah.
I do. But like I said, I have things to do.
Yeah.
I actually need to focus.
Yeah.
So I was just like to God, like, take this, pause the desire.
Yeah.
Not take it away, because I need it.
I'm like, God, take it away from
Yeah.
me. Because honestly, babe, I don't know if you have friends that are like, I've been celibate for a year or two. I'm like,
For 2 years.
I'm like, God, please. Like, I think I would actually shrivel up and like, no one wants to be around me if I ain't got none for 2 years.
No, I'm actually like I said, it's been 3 months and I'm doing okay. I haven't.
That's why you're shouting on your... calling people out.
Because I'm frustrated. Yes, it's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well done.
Thank you.
For me, it's been like 2.5 weeks.
It as well.
It as well.
It as well.
And God doesn't understand, actually.
Yeah.
He does not.
Yeah. But trust me, I just before we wrap up, like God was telling me to go celibate for about 3 years. Or celibate or abstinent for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying no. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah. I did it for 6 months. And so I've actually done it for 6 months. From like October 24 till that May when I downloaded Hinge, bro. That's why I was like,
this is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And guys that are talking, I'm like, why are you talking? Do you want to meet?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to meet
What's
tomorrow?
poppin'?
I ain't got time.
No, I hear it. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it God's way. Wish me luck.
Amen, sis.
Yeah.
I'm joining you.
Yeah. No, join me. Honestly, it is hard. It is hard, but that's why I stay prayed up now.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, anytime I feel a little urge, I'm like, in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Save me, Lord.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
guys, so that was an amazing conversation. Hopefully the story will be cleared up and whatever. And
hopefully people
I mean,
get
you've
a
given a
grip
lot
and
of
stop.
context, different perspectives, and I'm so sorry that you even had to go through that. Like, I'm
crazy,
so
isn't it?
sorry.
I know that this is like my purpose.
Yeah.
Like the church needs to do better. So I don't know what that looks like, but
Yeah.
I know I definitely want to go into breaking
Some curses, some
curse-
generational
yeah,
curses.
but
yeah.
also like making churches understand that they need to support women better. You can't just say, that's your duty as a wife, just pray for him.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Women are losing themselves.
Yeah, they are. They are. These are the type of platforms that will give women that confidence to choose themselves, to put themselves first, to ensure that they show up as the best version of themselves. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I loved having you here. I'm so
love being
grateful
here.
that you chose to come here and
Yeah.
conversate with me. And I'm telling you guys, me and Charlotte are going to be friends.
As in 100%.
We're going to be friends.
Yeah, you're gonna have to drag me off this
Oh,
podcast. I'm gonna come like to all the episodes. You're like,
With
babe,
your
it's,
movie bag.
it's not. I've got another guest. I'll be like, sis.
You are welcome, girl. You are welcome. You're the first guest,
Oh.
but you have a place here anytime.
Thanks, Babs.
anytime. But yeah, guys.
Oh no, you're wearing white.
Oh,
okay,
it's fine.
it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
But yeah, it was amazing having you here. Oh, before we wrap up, Charlotte, tell the people then where they can find you.
On Instagram at Charlotte __ TOK, which is for the Organised Collective. But that's
Is
where I'm at.
is it only on Instagram?
I'm only on Instagram.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
on TikTok. I've heard it's the
You
place
should
to
get on
be.
TikTok.
I've
Oh my gosh.
heard. I
Especially with your
know.
storytelling skills. Definitely. I think you should. And you make money on TikTok.
I heard.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time. Bye.